I am so fucking scared of this millennial crash out fade that's happening right now. Like, what the fuck is going on? Taylor's talking about how Travis has a big dick, and like somehow there's beef about that. Like, I don't fucking know, but that's the vibe that we're on in 2025. And today I'm gonna be discussing that vibe with some visual representation here. Can we get a round of hands for my dedication to the video? Like, look guys, I have candles lit today. I have papers on the wall. I have a microphone. Is it connected to anything? No. It makes me look professional. So unless you've been living under a rock these past few days, you probably are aware of the Taylor Swift Charli Xcx drama that's going on right now. There's hella beef, like literally hella beef. And I'm here to help you break it down, dissect it, swallow it, digest it, whatever the fuck, because that's what I do here. So make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on other videos. That way you stay like culturally relevant and you don't turn into unk like me. So, here are our two perpetrators here, Charli Xcx and Taylor Swift. Here is a thorough timeline brought to us by our friends at Variety Magazine. Everyone say thank you, Variety Magazine. 2018, Charli is the opener for Taylor's Reputation tour. The stadium tour, she's obviously on good terms with each other. She's an opener. So good, in fact, that during some sets of Taylor's Shake It Off, Charli literally like joined her and Camila Cabello on stage. Like at several stops too. 2019. This is kind of where the first like sneak diss begins. So in a Pitchfork interview, Charli basically told the reporter that she enjoyed being on the tour and opening, but as an artist, it felt like I was getting up on stage and waving to 5-year-old, which is obviously not the nicest thing to be said about your fan base, right? And so naturally Swifties were pretty fucking mad because one, like who wants to be referenced to that way? And two, you know how Swifties are. Swifties, please don't attack me. Fast forward to 2023. Charli, Taylor, the 1975. So in 2023, Taylor and Maddie Healy, these two right here, they start dating, right? Right after Taylor's breakup with Joe Alwyn. Immediately after. But Taylor and Matt were only together for about 2 months or so. So it's pretty much just like a fling, right? But a year prior, Charli and George Daniels, they got into a relationship. What do George Daniels and Maddie Healy have in common? They're in a band known as the 1975. So naturally there's quite a bit of overlap there, you know, where they would probably be around each other if their boyfriends at the time were both in the same band, naturally, right? 2024, Sympathy is a Knife is released. Now in this song there are no direct connections to Taylor Swift, but there are definitely some references that I could for sure see being like hella aimed towards Taylor. The biggest one that I found and like had my own personal bone to pick was with the lyrics, "Don't want to see her backstage at my boyfriend's show. Fingers crossed behind my back. I hope they break up because I couldn't even be her if I tried. I'm opposite, I'm on the other side." That was so hard to say without singing. Like actually though. So I mean that makes sense, right? Don't want to see her backstage at her boyfriend's show. Fingers crossed behind her back. She hopes they break up. But then also the last line, let's think about that here. Let's think about that. I couldn't even be her if I tried. I'm opposite, I'm on the other side. Hold that in your head and think about it because we're going to come back to it later in the video when we discuss what we think actually is going on here. Fall 2024. Taylor said a positive comment to a magazine, to New York Magazine, talking about how she's been blown away by Charli's musical talent, sensibilities, blah, blah, blah. However, backtracking a little earlier in this year, Charli was quoted in that same magazine, in the same New York magazine, that she had always quietly thought that Maddie Healy and Gabriette would be a good couple. Which obviously is kind of shade because she knew Taylor Swift at the time. And like, you know, she's always thought that like let's put 2 and 2 together here. Also, on the day that Taylor shared a positive review of Tortured Poets Department in April that year, Charli quote tweeted, "Everyone's hyped for the Brat tour," which obviously not the best look, Charli. But then winter 2025, there's a clip that goes kind of viral of Taylor like rocking out to Charli's music, having a good ass time, busting her butt at the Grammys, right? So it seems like everything's fine, just like some weird petty digs here and there, but overall it seems like the relationship is like definitely not contentious, if anything like on the more positive side. Here is where the ball really got dropped, right? Like where shit got real. And that is 2 days ago, fall 2025. In Taylor's new album, The Life of a Showgirl, she threw massive shade on track Actually Romantic, but it is so insanely obvious that this whole track is dedicated to Charli. I mean, listen to the lyrics. "Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. I heard you calling me boring Barbie when the cokes got you brave. High-fived my ex and said you're glad he ghosted me. And according to Taylor Swift, she explained in an E! Interview, talking about Actually Romantic, saying, it's a song about realizing that someone else has kind of a one-sided adversarial relationship with you that you didn't know about. And all of a sudden, they start doing too much, and they start letting you know that actually you've been living in their head rent-free and you had no idea. It's presenting itself as them sort of resenting or having a problem with you, but taking that and you accepting it as love. You're just accepting it as attention and affection. How flattering that someone has made you such a big part of their reality and you didn't even think about this. It's actually pretty romantic if you really think about it. And that is what Taylor Swift said, which I have my own thoughts on. But just hold it right there. Because first, we have to dissect tweets, because what is internet drama without Twitter? I've been yapping a lot today. Something just like interesting that I wanted to add into the video is that as of yesterday, Sympathy is a Knife rose to number 13 on Genius's lyric charts. So everyone's kind of like looking into this right now. It's a whole thing. I mean, shit, you're here, you know. But it does definitely seem like the public opinion is swaying to the side of Charli Xcx, which it's not really hard to see why. I mean, I personally know I am. But okay, here's what one Twitter user said. I just think it's weird to go after someone like Charli Xcx, who though has been a critical darling for years, finally had the breakout year she deserves. God forbid the attention wasn't on you for one summer. Here's another screenshot from another article. It's 2025 now. Taylor Swift is the biggest pop star on the planet. Times Person of the Year big. Repeatedly breaking her own sales records with every new release big. And she, allegedly seeming, can't stop thinking about Charli Xcx. And then I heard you call me boring Barbie when the Cokes got you brave. She sings on Actually Romantic, one of the lowlights off her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. For those somehow mercifully out of the loop, Charli Xcx just married the 1975's George Daniel, bandmate of Swift's recent ex, Maddie Healy. On the brat cut Sympathy is a Knife, she grappled with being thrust into the orbit of a female pop star several times her stature. Actually Romantic is just, well, mean. And worse, it's dumb. Like a toy chihuahua barking at me from a tiny purse, that's how much it hurts. No working it out on the remix to be had here. And I honestly could not agree with this statement more as a whole. Like, I think if there's anything to encapsulate how I feel, it's definitely like this article. Unfortunately, I don't know where it's from. It was just a screenshot from a Twitter thread. And then, I don't know, this is just like a funny tweet that I found kind of adding some, you know, fuel to the fire, stirring the pot, whatever you want to call it. But this tweet is from 2017, and it's just Charli saying, I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning thinking about Taylor Swift, which I'm just gonna leave that right here to stir the pot, because I think it's funny. Okay, now we're gonna get into my own personal opinion here, because let me tell you, I have a lot. I truly think that women in this industry are constantly pitted against each other anyways. However, I do feel like this whole Taylor situation is an embarrassment to women everywhere and her entire discography and herself. It really just does seem like it gets proven time and time again that anytime it seems like her own relevance is being overshadowed, outshined maybe, like she has to do whatever she can to desperately cling on to that and just try and like ride whatever the next wave is of fame for her, which, I don't know, it's brought up this point many of times where people are just kind of like, really, it's like it's not enough for you, like you need more. And her answer to that is always yes. You know, she doesn't say it, but she says it with her eyes, she says it with her actions. Like, in my opinion, I feel like examples of this were when she had that collab with Ice Spice, because let's be real here, I feel like Karma was just kind of like a shit show of a song when like they added Ice Spice to it. Like lyrically, like the flow was off, like in my opinion. And then on The Life of a Showgirl, her final track had Sabrina Carpenter featured on it, which, yes, they are in the same pop sphere. Won't argue with that. In fact, I would agree with that. But Sabrina Carpenter also did open for her on the Eras Tour, but it really does just seem like she's just jumping and latching onto whatever is the most popular and trying to leech off of it to try and make herself even more famous and to keep her from spiraling out of irrelevancy. Because she's already made a song literally about this concept, so we know that this thought is obviously in her head. In Nothing New, she talks about what it's like to potentially be replaced by something younger, something shinier, what happens when she's no longer that something new. And so we obviously know that she has these feelings, and a lot of women do in general, not just ones in the industry or just Taylor Swift. But I think it's how we handle it that becomes an issue when it's like this and it involves leeching and tearing other women down. I really do think that this is just how Taylor responds to perceived threats, if that's what you'd like to call them. That's what I'd like to call them. And I think that Sabrina Carpenter is one of these, right? But she brought Sabrina onto the track to try and like boost her popularity off of that. But the way that I see it with Charli is she saw an opportunity to start beef, start discourse, and she took it. because she knew that she's Taylor Swift. Fuck it, she has her band of loyal followers, and there's already that shit there. And even if Taylor doesn't even really truly believe this or think this or even really give a rat's ass, because let's be real, she's a billionaire, she probably doesn't. It's just like clout for her at this point. Like, she just doesn't really care. It's just whatever is going to pay the bills from my point of view. But I really do just kind of find it sad and pathetic, I won't lie. Like, also the album itself, which this isn't an album review video, but I just found it also to be quite an embarrassing album lyrically. Sonically, it sounds great. Like, I won't lie. Like, it's a good, like, banger pop album. Okay, maybe banger's, like, a little harsh, but I do think that it actually will age quite well. I kind of see it being in the same category as, like, 1989 vibes, like, kind of like an iconic moment, right? But I think right now it's being really poorly received because it does seem like kind of a Sabrina Carpenter knockoff album, which her having Sabrina Carpenter on there doesn't make that any better. But I do think that this brings up a larger issue within the industry and how it treats aging women and what it's like to be an aging woman in Hollywood, right? Because let's think about it, like, Taylor Swift, like, she isn't the youngest girl there anymore. She's well over that age, right? Like, she's in her mid-30s, she just got engaged, and whether or not you think that's a PR marriage or not, that's an entirely different video. I actually have one on it. But logically here, like, where else is she gonna go from the Eras tour, from getting married? Like, I'm just being, like, straight up here. Like, how much higher can you get after that? Mainly from the Eras tour, not even just, like, getting married. That's honestly, like, kind of irrelevant, but it's just, like, what else can she really do to get that, like, extra jaw-dropping factor from people? Because the higher you climb, the harder it is to shock people. Like, the bigger, the more they expect from you. And, like, when you've already put out something like the Eras tour, how are you supposed to, like, do something bigger than that? And I personally think that Taylor's issue, I mean, I'm not her therapist, I don't know her personally, but I do think that a big part of this is something called the hedonic treadmill. And it's this idea that people basically get used to whatever level of, like, happiness or achievement or anything that they have, right? And then they always want more. They want more and more and more and more. So when people are like, oh, like, why does Taylor, like, want more fame? Why does she, like, why can't she just be happy, right? And I think that is genuinely because, like, once you have acquired, like, something so large, your psyche, and I literally am kind of talking out of my ass right now, but also I'm using a Psychology Today article, so that's how you know that shit's real. But it's essentially the idea that people adjust their expectations and make the big things that were big at first become more a part of the status quo that fade into the background. So for example, like, when you get into a new relationship, it's really fun, it's really exciting. 6 months later, you're still kind of in the honeymoon phase, but, like, it kind of starts to, like, fade into the background. You get used to it, right? And then you're not looking for a new relationship, but maybe you're looking for other things that are, you know, gonna bring you excitement in your life, which you should already be doing outside of a relationship, but, like, but not what I'm trying to say, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. But this is hedonic adaptation, and it causes people to stop appreciating things as much, which I think is the key issue here. But then one would argue, like, how do you even come back from that after you've surpassed such a large amount of money and fame and fans and fortune, all of these crazy, insane things that a very small percentage of people have ever actually had in their life? So basically, in conclusion, I think that Taylor Swift just kind of took this whole thing too far. I think that she's just kind of doing it for marketing purposes. I don't think it's any actual petty shit. I think that she's just kind of honestly doing it for the money, doing it for the views, doing it for the clicks. And I don't really think it has anything to do with Charli, because if we've looked at our timeline and we look at this girl in a turkey hat, who could ever hate her, first of all? But second of all, I really just don't see a 35 giving a rat's ass about any of this. Like, let's be real here. Let's be fucking for real here. I would like to glaze Charli for a second though and give her flowers, because I do love the song Sympathies, and I've really, like, a lot, like, for real. This isn't a song analysis channel, so I'm not gonna get into that, but those are my thoughts and my opinions, and I am wondering what your thoughts and opinions are. Because are you feeling more towards the side of Team Charli, Team Taylor, Team Girl Power? What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking? Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of this video, what you guys think of the girls fighting, what you guys think of this whole situation. If you think that it's stupid, if you think that it's necessary, let me know, because I want to hear it. And also make sure to subscribe, because I post every single Sunday. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to never miss out on another one of my videos. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys all in the next one.